Hi everyone. Happy winter solstice. Um, and summer solstice, that word, and summer solstice, depending on which side of the earth you are watching this from. I do believe that either way, there is a call to kind of bury ourselves into the earth, return to our roots, remember what will stay true and what will always work, beyond all of the material 3D made up things of this world. Please forgive me. I am doing this reading at a time that I don't usually do it. And in an area that I don't usually do it. So getting into the zone is going to take a little bit extra energy and intention from me. I'm also doing it pretty late, and so I want to be careful about my tone, my voice, and my vibe. I have pets as well, so I don't want to be doing too much. And yeah, it's a very sensitive, not only time of the day, but a very sensitive time of the year. If you aren't already tuned into the feeling, then I trust that you will, regardless of the type of person that you are, regardless of whether or not you are sensitive. As I'm sure we all know, the veil thins during these change of seasons, but I do believe that up until now, the veil has practically disappeared, considering the things that we are all collectively awakening to. I'm remembering as well that I mentioned this in part of my 2025 reading, which, as I'm talking about it, I will link in the description of this video. I mentioned that there would be a chunk of the collective, of the world's collective, that are going to awaken. And as they do so, they're going to affect, I don't know if I mentioned this part, but anyway, as they awaken, their awakening process is going to affect the energetic grid of the whole world and will affect other people's awakening processes and general energetic fields. And it's as if the general grid is like vibrating, and this vibration is causing things to be generally very unstable, which I believe feeds into the fact that the veil feeds into the thinness, the disappearance of the veil. Everything is being reset right now. Everything. Your emotional body, the emotional body of those around you, the emotional body of the entire world, of the earth itself, is being affected, reprogrammed, regrouped. And so it's like there's a lot of potential energy in the air. It's like there's a lot of gaps that can be filled. And this is where our choices come into play. These gaps can either be filled with love or fear. I believe that to guarantee that these gaps be filled with love, work needs to be done in acknowledging the truth. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream, what stays true, what has always been true, is the concept of energy and the kind of communities and understandings that have always been aware of the concept of energy and frequency. has always been throughout time indigenous communities, indigenous peoples, traditional and cultural practices and beliefs. They have stood true throughout the test of time, and that is why I personally believe that they were vilified by law at some point. Because whoever was in control of that law knew very fucking well that whatever these indigenous, traditional, cultural people, whatever they got going on, whatever they're cooking there by their little witchcraft practices, is very powerful. And it's very true. It's extremely scientific. And the power and the science behind it is way too much. Because if everybody were to believe and understand in the power of energy and in the power of the fact that you can control it, if everybody knew that, then how the fuck can we absorb all the power for ourselves? How will that be possible? No. We need to control everyone and everything. We need to build this world the way we want it to. This is me speaking as whoever the fuck made up this weird little fear-filled box that we're in. We need to be able to control everyone with a guarantee. And how can we do that? We make them believe that what they believe is bullshit. It's been so true throughout time. And this truth has been calling to us throughout time. Unfortunately, the call of fear, the blood that has been shed, the war that we're seeing now on children will obviously ring and rain and sound louder than the truth of energy and of frequency and of God. Because as well, just a sidetrack, I trust that anyone tuning into my work understands that God is an energy and a frequency. So that is what we are working with right now. That is what I believe this transition of seasons is trying to not just bring, when I say, I wanted to say bring us into understanding, but it's no longer a bringing. It feels forceful and urgent. It feels like it's been urgent for many, many years now. And I suppose this is something that many astrologers and energy workers and intuitives have been predicting about this year in general, about the fact that this is a very energetically potent year, and there's something particularly energetically potent about this season that we're in right now, this transition, and into July. I was watching, I no longer remember which video of Pam Gregory's it was, but she did mention the fact that astrologically speaking, July 2025 is going to be a banger. And we'll obviously look and experience it for ourselves. Something I also felt into before coming onto this live stream was how Mercury retrograde-y everything feels right now, right? And I looked via the Time Passages app, and it says that our next retrograde is on the 18th of July. So we are about 2 weeks out, which, if I'm not mistaken, is around the time the shadow period begins to take shape, the shadow period of the Mercury retrograde. So there's a lot going on. And I think at this point that's the mantra. There's a lot going on. And there is. But I think that I think this is also something that not only I have said, many intuitives have said, ancestral workers, other healers, we're all really repeating over and over again that it's time to return home. It's time to return to our roots. And that will obviously look different to each person, considering how far separated some of us are from our roots. So to find our way back, this is why I mentioned the understanding of energy, frequency, turning everything that we see here into an energetic study, and then building our way up from there. I do feel called, though, to throw in the importance of ancestral work. This is something I also felt very strongly before going into this reading, that it will be very important for people who come from bloodlines of African descent to tap into that ancestral work, as it is that there is justice that is, I've said this in previous readings, but I do feel as well that every time these solstices come around and every time the veil is thin, this veil is thin. First of all, when I talk about the veil thinning, I speak about the fact that our reality, the boundaries between our reality and other realities are thin / non-existent, so that our ancestors could stroke us on the cheek. We'll feel it. With them not having a body, they could touch us. They can influence the way that we feel. Kind of like the understanding of Istunya and how those energies, Istunya Sako, can make you cry and can make you feel emotional. That's what I talk about, where you will be feeling things that have no reason, they have no cause. You're just suddenly feeling moved, extremely sad, overwhelmed with emotion, buzzed, excited about what? Who knows? That is what I believe is a consequence of a thin veil. As such, with this thinning of this veil, I believe that we owe it to these other worlds, particularly to our ancestors, out of a veneration and a reverence to the path, to their path that we are walking right now. We owe it to them to at least keep in touch. It is very sticky ground to fully suggest that you do ancestral work and you dedicate your story and your life towards uncovering their stories and wounds so that you can heal your own. As there are some people who have had very poor experiences with their ancestors, and as I've seen via socials, there are some people who believe that ancestral work is demonic. There are others who have an understanding that because they're dead, there's nothing that they can do for us. I'm trying to make room for you if that's you. And I will only suggest that you keep in touch. And then from there, see what happens, because something will happen. Your ancestors aren't just dead. And they are not at all demonic. And I understand why it is that the human mind with its ego would want to try to make sense of ancestors and ancestral work in that way. However, from where I'm standing, I do believe that that is an invalidation. And if you just put in the tiny little effort to keep in touch, to just acknowledge them, you can just talk to them, acknowledge that they're there, you will see for your own self how your life changes from that point on. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. And I swear by this. Yeah, I swear by this. And I don't speak on people's perceptions lightly. Like I don't take commanding like this lightly. I really love to leave people open to their experiences, like to each their own. But ancestral work is something I do not take lying down. If you are someone, like I said, I say again, who feels as though ancestors do not have a hand in your life, please try them. Try them. Test that theory out. Go as far as speaking to them. Ask them for anything and see how they show up for you. And if they don't, they will communicate exactly why it is that they don't or can't. They're loud, especially during these times, but especially right the fuck now. And I think that with everything that's going on in the world right now, everything is crazy. And our backs are truly against the wall. I don't think that I'll speak for myself, it is not at all possible for me to find joy under these conditions if it weren't for me relying on my angels, my guides, my ancestors, my soul. But especially my ancestors, I strongly believe that everything that I am living now is a direct result of everything they have lived before. So where else would I get the answers? It's sure as fuck not coming from this reality, not from a single fucking person here, not from anyone who doesn't respect and venerate ancestors like I do. No one else is going to give me the answer. I have been relying on them more than I can rely on anyone alive. And the gag is that they're everywhere. They're in the ground, they're in the trees. They can put you in the exact place at the exact right time so that it's as if they're communicating through other people. They're incredible. And they really, really, really love you. And they're there for you. And because, like I said, everything is just so, so crazy. What else are you going to do? Sorry, that was like so attitude. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I promise you, I swear by this. Your ancestors, especially if you're a brown-skinned person, your ancestors are here. They have arrived. They've always been here. But right now, the ships are docking, okay? They're walking down. They're cloaked. And we just have to stand there with our signs saying, I'm looking for mines. And they'll see you, they'll clock you, and they'll connect. They will hold your hand, and you will never feel more safe than you will in the understanding that they've got you. And they know your secrets, the deepest kinds, the ones that you can't tell anyone. They know them. They know it before you utter it, before you even realize it. This is also shadow work season. And I still do think that this is the case no matter which side of the earth you are on. The whole planet is going through a shadow work initiation, dark night of the soul, Ndondon. And as such, again, it is very important to venerate the very people who know your shadows. They know your secrets. I can't, like, I wish I could get it tattooed on my forehead. Your ancestors know your secrets. Everything you try to hide, they know about it. They put those hidden secrets there for you to find at the right time, and they know they're right next to you when you discover those secrets about yourself. All the things, the grimy shit you don't want to face, they know it. And they're there for you to help you accept those parts of yourself so you can move on and live. Really live in the way that they couldn't, live in the ways that they were killed for. We owe our ancestors a lot. And the least that we can do right now, during these crazy times, and honestly for the rest of our fucking lives, the least we can do is acknowledge them and give them room in our life and in our hearts to connect and allow them to show us that they love us and that we're safe and that we're here to enjoy ourselves. I get very emotional every time I talk about my connection with my ancestors and ancestral work, because it has been a long journey and a really awkward one, because I come from a story of people. I come from a story of a past that treated all of this work like it was weird, like exactly like how the law made it, like this is demonic. It's not for you. It does nothing. Nothing is more important than the beep, 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 the hamster wheel, than running the hamster wheel. There's nothing more important than that. And I feel into the heartbreak and the like, oh, but Nana, we are here for you. You know, that's what their voices are just always saying to the whole lot of us. Like, we are here. You don't have to suffer so much. You're not by yourself, you know? And I spent a lot of my time really feeling like, whoa, I'm really alone up in this bitch, and feeling like, wow, why would I want to live if I'm just going to be alone? This is terrible. And then a little time dedicating myself to connecting with my ancestors really blew my mind wide open to the fact that, oh, I'm not alone, and I haven't been this entire time. And they were always right there, just waiting for me. Always. They wait for you no matter what. Even when we vilify them ourselves, we believe this bullshit that's been fed to us, and we call them demonic. Even through that, they still go, oh, we'll be here when you're ready. That is the love of God. And I believe for the human mind, the love of God and God itself is just such a crazy concept for us to understand. Our ancestors really act as a bridge between that crazy understanding of God and this tight, ego, human understanding of life. Like, they're the bridge. So I pray that I hope that this season allows you to understand that, and to understand that you're not alone, and that our ancestors, and many other loving individuals in the spiritual realm, they're there for us. They really are, especially right now. And ain't nobody know what the fuck is going on, or how to stop it, or when it will stop, or like what, you know what I mean? Thank you. Thank you for being with me in this reading and allowing me to go off about my love for the ancestors. I will pull cards now to, I suppose, I just for the sake of closing this reading, I guess, this channeling, that is honestly all I had I think that is what I've just shared is really the most important factor, I believe, about this change of season and about this, the transitioning and the season itself going ahead. I really think that this will be a lot about the spirit and tending to it and allowing the spiritual beings that are there for us to help us tend to our spirits too, because we cannot fucking do this shit. We cannot do it by ourselves. We can't do it by ourselves. And I think that anyone naive enough to think that they can do it by themselves without some kind of otherworldly surrender, you're going to feel it on your body. I believe that anyone who decides to go down that path is going to feel it. It's going to take a physical toll on them. And you might find that people fall ill or random things happen to their physical body during this season because they are not surrendering enough. Surrendering season. Oh, it's it's you don't know it all season. It's you can only take control of the things you can. You release the things that you can't season. You know what I mean? I also just want to throw in and I don't want to say this to invalidate the experience of setting new intentions, writing on a piece of paper, burning it in a fire. I did that quite often myself in the past. It's cute, but I don't know how to say this. Okay, I think that there is something extremely generic about the spiritual practices that are common on these streets. And I think it is so generic that I think I'm not finding the words because I'm going to be a hater about those processes, which is interesting considering, like I said, I did those. I was the burning fire girl, setting a new intentions girl. I was that girl, but I just feel like there's something about this season in particular that will not give a fuck about your intentions. Sorry, I said that wrong. It won't give a fuck about... Okay, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. That was me being an absolute hater, and I'm so glad that is caught on live because damn, Jesus, Tundi, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. The spiritual significance of this time of the year and of this transition is so much bigger than the advice that you can get on these streets. It's so much bigger than these little rituals that you're doing because you saw someone on social media suggest that you do it. You know what I mean? If anything, and if you can take it, because I'm definitely addicted to social media. I'm addicted to doom scrolling, so it's gonna take a huge command of my will. But if you can, I suggest you put all of that shit away entirely for this season and go in completely within hermit mode. If I could literally bury myself in the ground and just stay there like the way a bear does, like truly hibernate, I wish we could all do that. Be still and let whatever the hell is going on here play itself out. It is so intense. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. It's so intense that taking advice from another person I mean, honestly, even you taking advice from me is a little iffy, right? Taking advice from somebody who isn't ordained, who hasn't walked the talk, taking advice from someone who hasn't grieved, like really grieved, like, it's, I suggest you listen to the people who have the nerve to swear at God. Those are the ones who will give you true guidance, who will really be able to understand and hold you and give you full advice, proper advice. Discernment during this time is very important because everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to say the right thing, do the right thing. It is, yeah. I'm sorry for that energy, actually. I hope that I gave what I could. I'm mostly just trying to get to the bottom of the fact that it's a very serious time. It's extremely energetically potent. It's not to be taken lightly. Any ritual you choose to engage in is not to be taken lightly. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Be true to yourself. Try to be authentic as possible. And remember who you walk with. I'm going to pull cards now. And I won't pull much. I won't pull much because, like I said, this was that is all I had. That was, I believe, the most important part of what I had to share. This cards, I guess, this process of pulling cards is more for the sake of respecting my presence on YouTube. I am a tarot reader, so gotta pull some cards, but I'm not gonna pull many. I do hope to end the video soon. I don't want too many cards to fall out, just to take focus away from what I've said, because really what I've just shared now for these past 30 odd minutes is the most important thing, I think. But anyway, we have the Knight of Rods that fell out, which I think is a very cute card. Implies where we're at right now. I'm grateful that it's this kind of energy. This Knight of Rods is generally very hopeful, dreamy. Unlike the Queen or the Page or the King, they are very underworldy. As you can see with the Knight of Rods, he's more above ground, looking at and appreciating flowers. In the deck, I believe it speaks of him being a poet. He's artistic, creative. So that might be, it's actually been mentioned over and over again in past readings that creating might be a really helpful outlet for you. Should you be touring the underworld like I am and you need some way to release. For the sake of creating though, like it's one thing to create and really channel your pain, but this Knight of Rods, he's a lot more dreamy and very, very hopeful. So I suppose with this card, I think it's also a suggestion to keep dreaming and hoping for the future. It may look very much like there's no telling what the fuck. Like there might not even be a future with the way the world and global warming and everything. It's like, wow. But try to stay hopeful beyond it all and keep imagining and holding on to the image of your ideal life and circumstances, the way you want to feel. Because at the end of the day, that'll be what you deserve to feel. As I've said, we do deserve to be joyful. We deserve to have fun. We deserve to tread lightly in the world, knowing that life on the bigger scale is very fleeting. Life may seem or feel long, but you'll blink and then you'll have wrinkles. I'm sure we're all experiencing it now with the way that we're feeling nostalgic of the past. So, yeah. He's also someone who's in the present moment. He can stop to appreciate the flowers and the nature and the beauty in front of him, even if it is that he may not be feeling that beauty in his heart. He generates it. He works and he fights for it, But he fights for it in a dreamy way, in being true to himself. And his yearning for more, his yearning for beauty. Many cards fell. Many. All right. And some of them, I really, I'd be remiss if I didn't show them to you. So they're all actually telling a really lovely story. I won't show them all. But I did pick a few that kind of round up what is being told. This is the only card that fell upright, the Seven of Swords. We are working with our heads, our headspace during this solstice, where I believe we need to. It's gonna be so hard for me personally, but we need to push against this negativity that we're seeing. Possibly use it to understand more about us, about what we fear, about our lives. So I look at this world and I'll feel hopeless and like I'll feel hopeless and like I'm out of control. I would then use this card as an invitation to ask myself, why do you feel out of control if it is that you believe in everything that I've just said in this video, that you're guided, you're protected, you're loved? Why feel out of control then? And then take further steps to reprogram those emotions within me to understand that, nope, those are just fear-coded programs that now need to be worked out. So every time I'm met with feelings of victimhood, I override those feelings and programmings with, remember that you are safe, remember that you are protected, you are loved, you are walking with your ancestors. Code that into my mind as affirmations and just keep going with that. Keep going until eventually it becomes second nature, And then I'm always able to see the beauty in life, that kind of thing. I believe that this may also suggest looking into talk therapy or journaling, something about unpacking what's going on here, what you're working through subconsciously. We also have the Strength card, which talks of shadow work and overcoming the shadows, like riding your shadows bravely, facing them, knowing that you are not bigger than these feelings of victimhood. You are not a victim. You are never a victim. Applying that as truth in your life. And when you feel weak or when life meets you with the fear-coded programs, when you try to push back and say, I am not a victim, and your life pushes back at you saying, but what if you are? You push back again to say, no, I'm not. Work, work, strength. We are training our hope muscles like nothing else right now. It's not a joke. Oh my God, shadow work is so hard. It's so hard for me. We have the Four of Rods as well, which I believe it implies success in all of this, in this work that we're doing in order to come home and to return to ourselves, to the truth of ourselves, return to the light. I believe it's also success in shadow work and in general, success in the shadow work we undertake. It may also, this Four of Rods may also speak of shadow work and psychological unpackings to do with your home life. So look into the possibility of, like, maybe part of your, I'm receiving now that maybe part of your subconscious shadow work programmings come from, you may be influenced by the negative thoughts of someone you live with, so that so that you need to be able to find your own grounding, so that you're not influenced by shadow works and limited beliefs, by the shadows and limited beliefs of the people you live with or people in your community. You can't change other people's minds. You can only change and affect your own. So this is a lesson I'm learning about detachment and knowing what's my problem to take on and leaving the rest, so that I can feel more at home in my own body about my own issues, and stop taking on other people's issues, so that you start feeling more at home in your own body. Part of why you may not feel so at home in your vessel is because your vessel is shrouded with the energy and darkness of other people's. This is also reminding me of the invitation I saw from Esina Beni. She her spiritual name is, via her YouTube, which I will tag in the description. She posted a recent video about Upalaza, which is if you are from across seas, the process of essentially cleansing yourself out through the act of purging. Very similar to the process of like taking a psychedelic and then allowing yourself to kind of vomit it all out, except you're not going through that whole psychedelic mind altering experience. You are literally cleaning your insides out. Very intense process. But if it is that you are someone who is feeling if you're like feeling really confused, frazzled, like you can't think for yourself, or you can't find your own truth, you find it difficult to hold a frequency of peace for long periods of time, you find it difficult to know the difference between your thoughts and that of others, you find yourself very often distracted. And I'm not talking Western diagnosed like ADHD shit. You'll know yourself. You'll know if this is for you. If not, then leave it. But yeah, if you resonate with that and with the overall sense that you just can't seem to find yourself, then purging may be a very helpful process for you. It definitely was for me. However, it was intensely overwhelming for my body. So do take that process on at your own risk. There are other ways, obviously, to purge, but it is a very it's a very, secure method of purging. Yeah, I'll definitely link the video in the description so you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And I think I'm going to pull one more card and then call it. Okay. This card was one of the cards that fell out in the whole bunch of cards that fell on the floor. The 5 of Discs. I feel called to read the interpretation of that. And we have the 1 of Cups underneath. There's a major sense of renewal that's going to come out of this period. However, it will take a lot of work. But it won't be work that we're not new to. We're used to it by now. It's just I'm feeling into the sense of, which is my own sense as well, into the sense of like feeling really exhausted and tired out because how much we've worked so hard already. And I've said this over and over again in many readings before, but I also think that part of what's going on here is that we need to start giving respect and honor to the work. We need to start kind of romanticizing the work and making it something poetic, making it something that we bleed for, because we are bleeding for it anyway. So we need to own it as ours, make it beautiful, understand that it is beautiful. It's growing us. It's making us into something. Our pain, we wouldn't be any of who we are today without the pain that we come with. And I think that's part of this energy. I should actually touch on the Knight of Rods energy as well. Is understanding that the whole picture of who you are is part of who you are. There is no part of you that can be left behind, including your pain and your trauma, your shadows, your bullshit, the parts of yourself that you think make you unlovable, which they don't, by the way. There's nothing that can make you unlovable or not worth love. There's absolutely nothing in this world that can do that. It's the gag. It's even the devil is adored and deserves that. The word that is associated with the descriptive paragraph of this card just says moving. You may see this card as a new beginning, or perhaps a darker aspect will come through, hardship, homelessness, or even poverty, which I don't think is, I don't think it's true. The last bits, give me a second. I think the last sentence is true as far as potential hardship, but I think it's really only hardship of the mind or the spirit. As I've mentioned, we are exhausted, very exhausted. However, the work doesn't stop. A change of life and circumstances. New opportunities appear after a period of strife and adversity. The current route may be hard, but may prove beneficial in the long run. Feels like we're going to face a lot of spiritual tests, but like I've said, it is nothing new. It's nothing that we don't already know, haven't seen, experienced. It's just a matter of us just pushing, just keep pushing more, keep doing the things that you're doing, keep praying, keep remaining spiritually cleansed, keep working to be grounded, keep meditating, doing your daily practices, yoga, exercise, belly breaths, whatever works for you. Just keep at it, keep going. Don't give up, don't lose hope, don't give in to the absolute chaos of this world. Don't give in to it. Stay grounded. We can do this. We can. We're made for this. We're made for this. Every bit of our journey. We were meant to be alive right now. We are meant to be here. We're meant to be here, and it's very important that you at least hold on to that, believe that, and own your place in this world. I said I'd touch on the Knight of Rods. The shadow that is upon us right now is no joke. Says someone searching for meaning and truth in a disturbing and trivial world. An idealist, sometimes quite impractical or naive. His creative and healing gifts may be evident quite early, but he is yet to find his full power. I think that first one is What stands out most? I should have just stuck to that one. Someone searching for meaning and truth in a disturbing and trivial world. And with the rest of the cards, it seems like we will find the meaning, but through shadow work, through subconscious work, unpacking your head, journaling, talk therapy, and with a professional, not just with a friend who, or if you have an honest friend who you know is not a yes man, they're going to give it to you straight. Trust that friend. I'm receiving now with these two cards, the Five of Discs and the Four of Rods, that we may be facing potential abandonment issues that may creep up. You may find yourself in situations where you need to ask for help from people who you assume would be there for you, but then they end up revealing that they aren't as there for you as you would have hoped that they would be, which is fine. Like I've said and mentioned in the beginning of this video, you're not alone. Even if external processes may reveal or try to imply that, you are not alone. Back against the wall, please rely on your connection with the spiritual realm, with your ancestors, your God, your angels, your guides, the guides that walk with you on this journey that you have chosen. Keep choosing. Keep choosing your journey as it has chosen you. Till death do you part. Thank you for watching this live. Yeah, I'm really appreciative. My energy, as I mentioned in a previous reading that I did, I know that most readers come with very uplifting, your dreams are around the corner type energy, and while I would love to be that, I really mostly intend to be uplifting and give you a hope. I mostly want to be real. And we are in a real ass situation. But also on the real, we've got this. So let's keep going. Thank you so much for your presence. And I'll see you.